welcome to another segment right here on Podcast Malawi, another segment of podcast. This is a new segment on Podcast Malawi where we'll be talking about technology. Our main emphasis on this podcast, on this segment, it's going to be technology. And I'm so happy to say this, that we've been privileged to be partnering with a company that is going to be sponsoring us, helping us to air these episodes of this segment that will be talking about technology. So we'll be talking about technology, how it affects us, how it's affecting the nation, how it's contributing to the development of this country, and all sorts of things that we can talk about bad in line with technology. So I'm so excited, guys. I know you are used to be seeing me on emergency meetings, bad as a co-host, but right here you're gonna be seeing me as your host in this show. So welcome, and I'm privileged to have two gentlemen in this studio that are coming from Angle Dimensions, the ones that we have said that we have partnered with as a Podcast Malawi. So we will talk about a lot to do with technology, that will talk about the company, the organization, and also why maybe us. So maybe to begin with, I should say, why Podcast Malawi? Why partner with Podcast Malawi in this segment to talk about technology, and maybe why is it important that we should be talking about technology, like as Malawians, as maybe also we can say that as youth we are there, like in the next 20, 50 years we'll be out there. Why is it so important that we should be talking about this, and why Podcast Malawi? Maybe to begin with from there.
I think oftentimes our country is associated, and I think the headlines that we see to do with we are one of the poorest countries in the world. But I think one of the stories that are never told on the global stage is that if within the poorest country there are technology companies that are actually doing amazing stuff.
Of course.
In Malawi and out there. So a better way to tell that story within Malawi, but also out there, is to associate ourselves with a brand that is able to allow us to tell that story.
Exactly.
So Podcast Malawi gives us that sort of a forum to tell the story. Number one. Number two, we also believe we saw some challenges when we were starting. Was to attract the foreign investment. So I mean, in other African countries. It's very easy for startups to be able to land angel investors, venture capitalists. But I think we've seen the traction in Malawi, but I think it's been a challenge. And the reason is that not a lot is talked about this part of the world in terms of the technical capacity of people that live in Malawi. And so we want to get on the mic and tell this story.
Oh, of course. This is, I think I should say that this is value for money.
Yes.
Like partnering with Podcast Malawi. Correct. And we are also honored to partner with you so that we advance exactly what needs to be advanced in terms of technology and as far as technology is concerned. So you are two here. I would love to know the background of these Angle Dimensions. Is it just about you guys, or maybe there's some other goons somewhere there? Tell me more. What was the beginning of this journey as Angle Dimensions?
Yeah,
my favorite story.
Yeah,
you love telling that story, right?
you can start it.
So Angle Dimension. Okay. I think so we've got two sort of starting points.
Okay.
There's one where we can say full time, and then there was one where it was. What do people call it? A briefcase company. Yes. But it was an idea
where you just advertise, you just send maybe quotations, but you don't have an office space where they can find you.
We don't have an office space. Correct.
I know
but we started as a consultancy in 2011.
Okay.
And that time, Angle Dimension was sort of, I think, the main co-founder and think myself had joined in a little later.
Okay.
We were seeing different problems in different organizations. Our background is the CEO, who's not here. The CEO, Mr. Mutali, is a central banker and has been a seasoned banker for over 10 years at that time.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Myself, I was working for an arm of the central bank, which was Mousewitch, also for another 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And Bram over here, he'll tell you himself where he was, but he was also in the internet service provider space. And Dr. Kamoto, who's the other partner, was also working alongside myself at the Mousewitch. So
you are 4?
Yes, we're 4. Okay. Correct. So where we were working for an organization that both essentially deals with the government and also the banking sector. Yeah. This is from the technology side, right? Mm-hmm. So we knew and saw a lot of gaps within that space, as well as other people. They'll tell you, we've got this problem and all that. So we used to meet at Crossroads. Okay.
For meetings.
Yes. Every when we knock off at work, after work, and most weekends, I think. Yeah. So your life involved whatever you want to do and a meeting at Crossroads.
Okay.
To this very day, some of the waiters they still remember. They still remember us. Even today they still remember us. Say, you guys, are you around? We don't see you anymore. We said, we found a little house somewhere.
That's great.
So we had started meeting there at Crossroads, and we used to essentially just do consultancies. And we do that. Yeah. And this is running from 2012 all the way until 2015. Okay. And we always joked about the magic number. What would it take for you to do this full time? Yeah. Right. And everyone, what was the figure? It was 100 million. And they said, if we had 100 million contract,
maybe we can leave this
and concentrate because the honest truth is, trying to do your job and trying to do this consultancy was becoming a bit overwhelming. Because now you had to kind of become 2 figureheads, and it really wasn't working. And we say, we believe in the things that we're doing, the ideas that we're doing, so much that we want to go full time. Yeah. But I think we all essentially agreed indirectly that no one is going
what sparked that idea? What was the moment like where you all met and be like, guys, I think can we go full time with this? what sparked that?
I think the thing that we had been talking about for quite some time, full time, everyone just their fears, you don't know the uncertainties. Yeah. One thing that I think I can point out to say that this was really an integral moment was when we got a office space at Golden Peacock, B10.
City Center, yes.
Yes, City Center. I still remember.
So you got an office space when you were still in your jobs?
We were still in our jobs.
Okay.
Yes.
Got an office space, very big room.
Okay.
Empty space. And we said, no, we have to fill this.
Yeah.
And I think we got one boardroom table. Okay. A whiteboard and a few chairs. And for the longest time, instead of Crossroads, now we're meeting there in the evenings. Yeah. And there's just nothing there. And, and you're like, I think just sitting down, looking at the problems that we had, we are always in a position where we say, even at our various places of employment, we were the ones who were coming out with the best ideas. Okay. And we say, you know what? If I had our own platform, we can really push this. Yeah. We didn't know how brave or stupid we were. That's a story for another day. Yeah. But I think essentially what we said was, look, we can try to build this. Let's try to build. And maybe one day we'll quit, but nobody is going to force you to quit.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone will figure themselves out. And then Bram, I think you can tell the rest of the story, who started.
Well, what was your personal story like? Meeting with these guys, talking about venturing into something serious as your employment, but owning it. What was your personal story, like thinking about it, starting, being involved, and then maybe with your life now? What was your story like?
No, I think for me it was so as he's putting it, it was challenging to serve two masters. You know?
Okay.
So you had a day job, and then at the same time you had to also be calling potential customers, you know, and say, you know, we develop software.
Yeah.
And on a number of occasions, in my personal capacity, I think I had challenges. So every time I had to, you know, like go for a meeting, you know, on behalf of our company now, I would have to take a leave at my previous work. And so one day I had a consultancy in Swaziland.
Okay.
And so I had to fly to Swaziland. But I had to say...
You killed someone.
I had to, you know, someone had to fell ill.
Yeah.
And so I traveled to Blantyre to see them.
Okay.
But you see, when I was traveling back from Swaziland, in the flight, I met my boss's best friend, you know, and I mean, I didn't pay attention to this, but, you know, I went and like, oh yeah, hi, you know, how is business?
Yeah.
And everything. And we chatted. It was a good conversation. Yeah. You know, and so when we landed, he went to his place. He found that the internet was not working.
Yeah.
And so my previous job, we were the internet service providers.
Yeah.
And so he wrote an email to his friend, who was my boss.
Okay.
You know, he said, oh, by the way, I met Bram in the flight from South Africa, but I forgot to tell him that we don't have internet at our place. So please, can you pass the message so that they can come and take a look? And so my boss was very good.
Yeah.
he just forwarded the conversation and I attended to the problem. You know, so I kept telling the guys, I said, you know, we can't do this for the longest period of time.
True,
you know, in one meeting, I actually I went to Parliament. Now that was on the policy side.
Yeah.
So we went to Parliament. There was something. We were meeting the Parliament Business Committee. I think it was Media Committee. And so what we didn't know was that my boss was also scheduled to meet the same committee at 10 o'clock. We were scheduled to meet the same committee at 9 o'clock.
So you were meeting this committee as Angle Dimensions?
Yes, in our own capacity.
In our capacity.
You know, together with other colleagues in the tech space.
Okay.
And so I passed by the hospital this day. I told my boss, I'm passing by the hospital. So we met the guys, and then you know, the tradition is that once you're done with the meetings, they take you to a tea room at Parliament. So either you are taken there before the meeting, or if you start your meeting before, then after the meeting you go in the tea room. In the tea room, there was my boss and his other colleagues waiting for us to finish this meeting so that they can also meet the same committee. So I showed my face on the door and he looked at me. But, you know, I mean, this was, it could be a story that there are many people who are actually doing these things. Course. And so I said, gentlemen, we either, you know, into this thing full swing or you know, we're not.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was at that moment we sat together and said, okay, let's strategize. And I think we can't keep, you know, taking excuses and stuff like that. But also, I think a few companies started taking us serious. And so the issue of due diligence started becoming serious.
Yeah, of course.
So much that they would ask, where are you operating from? And, you know, how many are you full-time and stuff like that. So that was also putting pressure. And I think that those were defining moments for us to actually go full swing. Yeah.
So when are we talking about when you all left everything and just focused on this?
Oh, this was 2016.
2016.
Yeah. So I think Sokwan started because he just woke up one day and said, "Guys, I've resigned."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And we're like, from the central bank. He's like, yes. And that doesn't happen at the central bank. Nobody just leaves there.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
He was, I think, one of the first.
Yes.
So he resigned.
He did.
And then he communicated to the team.
Yes.
And we requested him to share the template of the resignation.
So that you could do the same.
Yeah, yes. We just changed his name and, you know, the position.
Same content. Okay, so 2016, now we are fully into this. Right.
Correct. Yes.
So what were the obstacles now? Starting because we understand.
How much airtime do we have?
What are the first days obstacles? Like those moments when we were like, I regret doing this. Like I regret doing this.
I don't think it happened. Even to say, a lot of people believe the world will end.
Yeah.
I don't believe it's going to end in one day in the morning. It's going to end over 6 months. Then you realize the last step.
The world has ended.
I think it's over. Yeah, these things happen in small stages.
Yeah,
so
of course.
when we had left that time, I think we had a good contract with the World Bank.
Okay.
And so it kept us afloat.
Yeah.
I think for a good 6 months or to a year or so. So we were okay. In fact, our lives didn't change.
Okay.
We were like, oh, this is nice. Enjoy the office.
Yeah.
Doing what we love to do the whole day.
Yeah.
We had this 4-desk table thing. It's still at the office.
Okay.
Now it's used by other engineers. But that so we were there the whole day and everything was fine. I think when we sort of that money is sort of running out.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have a loan from the bank or investor, we were self-funded. We were our funders.
Since you had that business
Yes.
Entering into this thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, going into, I think the next year, 2017, was like, okay, this deal is kind of running out.
Yeah.
We have to find something else to do.
Of course.
And that time we were tenderpreneurs.
Okay.
Find a bid in the newspaper or somewhere, apply.
Yeah.
Yeah, only to go there. They'll take your idea, but they will not take you.
They'll just take the
They'll
idea.
just take the idea. We were escorting successful bidders. We just didn't know it at the time. And so that was a center of frustration.
Yeah.
Look, I'll tell you, even if you get a bid, this is what we found out that time.
Yeah.
You are a successful winner of a bid. And you are executing.
Yeah.
This is short term, 4 months, 5 months.
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to get my money when I'm done with the 4 months, right? Wrong. 2 years minimum. Because the money is in stages.
Yeah.
The money needs to be released when someone signs the contract.
Yeah, of course.
When someone says, let's do training, let's do what? Those people are scheduling trainings when they're free because they're doing other things.
Yeah, of course.
In the meantime, your overheads haven't changed.
No, they're still
You
there.
still need to make monthly payroll. You still need to make
and all
tax and rentals and all that. So we found ourselves running out of money, running out of options.
Everything.
Every bank wouldn't touch us.
Okay.
They would all ask you for collateral. You're like, but we just started the business. What do you mean? But we've got this deal. It's coming. They're like,
Nah, we're not
that's
sure
not
about
enough.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's when the cracks started. Yeah. We even went as far as to say, okay, gentlemen, the way we are right now, there is no food at home. Everyone doesn't have.
Yeah.
But what do you have, Bram? Bram has got cooking oil. I've got sugar.
Really?
Yeah. Sakwani has got, I don't know, biscuits or something.
Okay, so
we'll trade.
You at that point there's no business coming.
No.
But you guys have families.
Yes.
Were you married?
I was the bachelor, so I was
Okay.
I even used to tell them, like, no, for me it's okay. Just, I'll figure something out.
So basically, you are doing the apostles stuff, whereby people are bringing in there and they are sharing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Just to keep us going.
Yeah.
But as all this is happening, we still had very good business leads.
Oh, yeah.
We had very good contracts. In fact, some of them were running contracts, but they all weren't paying us because of one reason or another. I can't really say it's one thing, but it's like things just meet together. As I said, the world doesn't end in one day.
Yeah, of course.
It ends in 1 year. So it was just something, one obstacle is meeting another obstacle. So the belief was still there. I think for me, I'm very thankful to have the co-founders that I have.
Okay.
Because we all didn't put money first.
Okay.
I think that was the most important thing.
Yeah.
We've heard so many stories of partnerships gone wrong.
Of course.
And it always starts with money.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I look back, I think the most important decision we made was to say, even though we're going into this business, let us run a salary. Yes.
Yeah.
That's how we'll be getting our money.
Okay.
We'll have a salary.
Yeah.
A salary will be this day of the month.
Yeah.
That grounds you. You know.
Exactly.
As opposed to saying, oh, okay, here's 100,000, give me 2,000, the other one 20.
20.
Because now it starts becoming on a person by person needs
course.
on a need by need basis.
Yeah.
So someone wants more money than others. But if you have a salary, it's a structure. If you want more money than that, okay, take a loan.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, it will be a soft loan. Who have favorable terms.
Yeah.
You know, when the money is there.
Yeah. Was this the time where you learned each other's characters? Or maybe since you've been together in the same working space, you already knew who is who and all that. Was this the time where you knew about the characters? That maybe if I want this done, or maybe if this has to go this way, I think Bram has to do that, or maybe Henry has to do that.
I think it was yes, it was at that time. I had known Henry from back then, like, you know.
Yeah, this is coming on 20 years now.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had known him already. But yes, coming together, I think we got to know each other much better. Working together, and I think that also gave us an opportunity to be able to, you know, like to integrate it with each other and know what are his weaknesses, for example. What are his strengths, and would capitalize on those and make sure that one thing I like about our setup is that we have now become brothers, actually. So
they were family, you know.
You know, I know what's going on in his life. But that's taken us time to understand each other and to be able to figure out how we actually have to, you know, tolerate each other.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Okay. No, that's quite interesting because honestly, we've seen a lot of local partnerships that are failing.
Yeah.
And it's a success when we talk about having to been together for quite a long time. Like now
8 years.
8 years.
This is the 8th year.
As operating as Angle Dimensions full time.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. No. It's a great thing, and it's I think maybe after that period, what are the milestones that you can talk about after that period where you had to be contributing? Who has cooking oil? Who has some what were like some milestones that you can stand up and be like, that moment it brought this, and brought that.
Wow. No, I think so. Looking back, obviously, if we were speaking to a kid at MAST or at MOBAS, there are moments we were very excited about a particular product.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Henry talked about we were entrepreneurs back then. But on the side also we would look at the problems within our communities and say, let's try and find a software that can actually address this particular problem.
Oh, really?
Yes, so we're doing that. So one of the delusional, I would call it delusional projects we embarked on was the belief that if we come up with a system that is going to automate all the filling stations in Malawi, and we did a survey, you know, how many filling stations are there in Malawi, combining all the brands that you know, and they're manual at the moment. So, when I say manual is as a owner of the filling station, you'd go and ask your team to go and deep, find out how many liters are remaining of diesel or whatever. And then they would also have to record manually the meter readings.
Yeah, of course.
A very big book.
Yeah. So based on that, they would actually say, okay, I expect you have made sales for 3 million.
Yeah.
You also, you know, so we said, let's solve this problem. I think it's a very big problem. You know, we even asked a few filling station owners. And said, we actually, this is a big problem. If you solve this one, you help us.
Yeah.
You know? And so we were energized.
Great.
We embarked on the project. This was back in 2016, 2017.
Okay.
You know, spent a lot of resources on that. You know, developed a platform.
Yeah.
But we've over time we've realized that sometimes you could be excited as the project owner about a certain innovation, but I think the market is not ready for that.
Okay.
You know, I mean, as much as I'm saying this problem, they haven't stopped. They're still there.
They're still there,
right? But you'd find that the adoption of this particular solution was contrary to our belief that we were going to hit. It was contrary to our belief, like, you know, and so that for us was a learning. We had a bill with Zodiac for how much? Advertising only.
5-point-something million.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just
In 2016.
That's a lot of
That's
money.
20 million today,
yeah, exactly.
give or take, maybe more.
Yeah, maybe more.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Now,
yes.
I think talking about that, I was looking up into your products.
Yes.
So I want to hear more about your products. There is this what you call smart identity, okay, which is the KYC.
Yes.
Because I think in this world where we're living, I think I've seen a couple of organizations, a couple of companies that are still maybe going manual in as far as having the information for their customers is concerned. I mean, what led to that platform? What was the idea behind that?
Yeah. So I think that one was should have been to the technology partner. We had a technology partner who came in, and so this was through the Nico Group. You know, there was a solution provider who was providing a solution for KYC, and you know, I think it had some cost implications and all that. And they said, look, can you come up with something? Can you say, we have the national ID and it has the little chip in there. Yeah, they said, you know, in the chip, there's everything you see on the card, including even the pictures and the fingerprints and all that. If you can read from this chip, I think you can be able to build something. And we say, oh, it's straightforward. Oh, man. It was a long straightforward. It was back and forth. But we finally managed to crack it. Got that to work. And then we sort of, you know, had a proof of concept, something that can work. But I think at the time, we didn't realize sort of what we had. We were giving a solution to a specific client of ours. But then we started looking more broadly, you know, these issues, because there are other types of organizations that are regulated, you know, like banks and insurance and all that. They have to comply. They have to, you know, and everyone has been duped before, you know, fraud and all that. Most cases, you find that they cannot trace those people. Of course. You can't find them. They're at Zomba prison, but we don't know who.
Of course.
A lot of it comes down to, does the organization, is it able to know its customers? You know, if you look at that, that is a very deep problem. It goes beyond even banking. It goes beyond to any other organization. If beneficiaries are receiving something from NGOs or the government, AIP or something, how do we know that that person is who they say they are? Someone can just buy the card. People do that. They buy the card and they go there and they pretend to be that person. So we saw there's a great need in the market. And we say, I think this is something that we can come in. Of course. And as it turns out, as we move across the region, this is a very African problem. It's a problem with everywhere. People are not reliably able to identify someone digitally. I mean, from digital platforms. So I think, you know, this problem. A lot of people will say KYC from the bank, but it's very integral in our society, in our community. It's a very big problem. People not having a digital identity. Now, if we're having a digital future, what does that mean for that general populace? It means they cannot participate. Of course. Like something very simple, I would say. If you want to open a mobile money account, I think you need to have a national ID, which means you have to be 16 and above. So you have just marginalized everyone who's not 16. Everyone who's 13, 14, they've got an idea. If we go in a cashless society, how are those people going to participate? And so, you know, looking at it from that point, from that lens, we saw that it really is a problem that needs sort of angle dimension to come in and have local context. Because you can get a solution from outside, but they don't understand the network here. Sometimes they like throw, you know. But we have that local context. We know our problems. And so we always have there's this notion of what we call Africanacity. An African way to approach a problem that is African that we know. That we know how to. So I think the KYC was something that really hit home very close. And talking about our backgrounds, working in finance and central bank and government, we've seen this problem resurface itself in so many ways, and it continues to do so, and it erodes our society. So I think this is just beyond the money.
Yeah,
it's also a call for, advancing a certain agenda.
Yeah,
which is, again, let's have a digital identity for everyone, especially the marginalized, because they are the most affected.
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
You've talked about identity fraud. Yes. I just want to understand. Maybe you can talk about that. Yes. What is the role of? Now we're talking about artificial intelligence and biometrics. What are their role in combating identity fraud?
Okay. Yes. That's a good question. I'll give you an example. The national ID itself.
Yeah.
It's got your face on it, isn't it?
Yeah.
There are people who are masterminders. They were able to cut out that face and put whoever face they want.
Yeah.
So someone can pretend to be Henry Southend.
Okay.
And they'll give the ID to say Henry Southend, but with a different face.
Yeah. And
the human being is looking at that person. And they say, oh, yeah, you are this person, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Like, I'll give you Henry. We're two Henry, so I'll give you, you pretend to be me. For a human being who's working the whole day, doesn't even know you, they can easily get duped.
Of course.
Yeah, and it's not their fault, because that is a very human problem to have. Introducing the sort of artificial intelligence that we've been doing around smart identity, especially. And so we are able to do some advanced techniques, like from the card, we can read the image from the chip, and the system can do a live comparison using a camera to say the person who's standing here and the one whose image is in the chip is the same person. So we do a similarity, what we call a similarity match between the faces. And then we are also now able to say, if you can do your KYC from your house, from your comfort of your home. No need to go to the bank. But if I'm in the comfort of my home, I've got a new problem. I say upload a picture. Someone can just take your picture.
Yeah, of course.
Someone can just impersonate you, Someone can just take a certain ID. But now what we're saying is take your ID, take a photo of it, upload it, and do a live camera. Smile, look up, do left, and we'll check in real time if it's the same person who uploaded the ID and the one who's doing all these actions is the same person. Okay. And we're able to reject. Yeah. We can even say you've uploaded the selfie of yourself. Can we check if this picture has been used by someone else?
Yeah.
In the system before. We say, okay, I stole your picture.
Yeah.
And I'm pretending to be you. But you already registered.
Yeah.
Now, before you even proceed, we'll check against we'll do some artificial intelligence and check if this face has already been seen before by the system.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think those are some of the things that we're doing. Bram, maybe you can also add to some of the things that
I think those are the biggest that we have seen on the market.
Yeah.
Where currently, if you go to the bank, you just present your national ID the way Henry is talking about. Someone just replacing your face.
Yeah.
So what the bank currently does is they'll just photocopy it,
Yeah.
And say, okay, you've done your KYC. They'll only realize maybe later on if the fraud has been reported to them. Yeah. So the artificial intelligence is actually solving that problem in the space, in the financial technology space. And I think we have seen this, slowly taking up in Malawi. And we hope that it's going to, we saw Makra talking about the Chingida campaign, for example, where they're, I think, encouraging, or they will be introducing the regulations to have everyone register their device or the SIM card using the biometric details that are on the national ID.
Yeah.
So we believe that the fraud that they are trying to solve as well, the mobile money problem that they're trying to solve, are also going to be resolved using this regulation, but also riding on the artificial intelligence.
Okay. Yeah. So this is to tell us that we are still safe, like we are safe. From being robbed and all that.
I think if we implement these latest technologies, and I think with the latest regulations and policies to keep up as well, because you can't have a policy of 1940 something, policing, policing
this new world,
I see. Okay, now I'm interested in Kusa also as the other product that you guys have. What's the concept behind Kusa, and what is it about it? Kusa is a product that actually came about in 2017, 2018. We at that particular time also was trying to solve the village bank problem. Okay. Yeah. I'm not too sure if you're in a village bank. I've been in some kind of village bank. So Timango Belana.
Yes. Exactly.
So we're trying to solve that problem.
Okay.
Yomango Belana. Especially in Dinkania record keeping. Yeah. The problem with my village bank ambiri makala kuti the treasure amakandi keeping track of who has done their contribution, who has paid their loan, my interest agwenda manji, manual way of calculating. They have an Excel template apparently, they keep sharing this thing. We wanted to solve this in a sort of a smart way. Okay. To come up with a mobile application that would simplify the treasurer's job and also bring transparency. Okay. So it allows the village bank groups to create their group on the platform. Okay. And then we also understand kuti village bank ina yonse makandi malamulo siyana, right? Ena they share interests, ena ngandikatenga ngongole interest ija ndikaipanga yose ibwera kwa account wanga. So it's but you can set all those parameters, based on your group rules. And so as you're doing a repayment, everyone is able to see. Okay. Yeah. Henry has contributed his 50,000 kwacha. Ngongole again ali pa 250, panokwesa pa 200. Okay. So you don't have to go the treasure. It's happening in real time. In real time, yes. Okay. Yes, in real time. And everyone is actually able to get these notifications. Okay.
You can even get that Excel if you want.
Correct. You can
the one that people come up with, but you can get it from Kusa.
From the Kusa itself.
Yeah, and whenever it's changing, it's always updating. So you can get it.
Correct. Okay. So it was purely just solving that problem. We went as far as integrating with mobile money, Airtel money. Yeah. So that there are groups up until today. There are groups that are doing chibele ganyo manyitanzo. Yeah, of course. Ama sonkina na ba wina ba Airtel money. 100 by Airtel money. So we did the integration. So the idea was marumotumiza the transaction ID kuitenga chitunzi or kutenga message kutumiza. Once you have done the payment, the system is actually able to tell kuti Henry walipita pa Airtel money, transaction ID yake yakuti, therefore balance yake ndi mwakuti. Yeah. So that's pretty much Kusa. Okay. Yes. So are there any special or unique features or technologies in this Kusa thing? One of the things that we were using artificial intelligence as well was how do I identify Henry who has defrauded group way 18 definitely join a group. So if you're on the same platform, group we are way 18 definitely join a group. Correct.
Ep01.
49. Yes. Okay. So that way we're able to keep track of a profile. Many was in this particular group. Okay, if they are to provide the same identification. Normally the phone number in this case. Okay, all right. Yes. Okay. So we were using the phone number. We had reached out to NRB to do the integration. Yeah. Kuti muntu akamapanga or Google ngamapanga register. Then you can use the nation ID. Yes. Yes. But initially we're using phone numbers. Okay. So we're saying mwina muntu atakutawa kwa mwina they'll use the same phone number pretty much. So you use the phone number. Ndi Google mene ndipanga defraud jikapanga report kuti Henry. Yes. So in our platform, we're able to flag this person so much that when they go and associate with another group, we say we're notifying the group administrator. So if this is okay. Yes. Wow, that's great. That's great. So okay. Those are some of the features that we're doing on the Kusa platform. And then the other thing that we're also doing on the Kusa platform, don't look at my village bank and town anymore. If you look at village bank setting yakumudzi, pali azimai nditu amapanga zimene zija serious. They have been doing it for years.
Yes.
Right? And so, but you find that these women, if they go to a commercial bank ukapempha ngongole, amanena kuti ku credit data sakuuta nini sakuudziwani. Yes, because I mean you and me at least were able to be in the system. So using this platform also to help those kind of women. So if they have saved on Kusa platform for 2 years, 3 years, we were able to do credit rating ya member winali se mena makhulupirira kugulu kwawo. And then with an aim yonena kuti ngati afuna kuti akatenge ngongole ya ikulu yotumina thandizire kumunda ndi zina zotero, then they're able to say we can share our information with you as a bank, and you can see kunena kuti mabweza bwanji ngongole and risk yathu ilipatipati kwenye. So those are some of the things that we're also doing on Kusa.
Yeah, wow. I mean, anthu kunja kunoto akulidzana. We have to be honest.
Every December we see
mabanki konde mizimu, like even in town imu makamaka kamafika nthawi ya December imene anthu amagawana ndimene kumakhala kupoku kwambiri, which I think this Kusa will really solve this problem.
Correct.
I mean, wow. Okay. Talk about the other product, Aspect Financials 360. This one, I observe that it's working mostly with the SACCOs and microfinance companies.
Yes.
What's the business like on that?
Yeah, so I think that one, the Aspect Financials, it essentially, we can say, it's a grown-up version of Kusa.
Okay. It's a Kusa that went to high school.
Exactly. That went to Chango. Yeah. So, this is looking at the cooperative space and the microfinance space. It commands quite a large taking within Malawi. And a lot of these communities, they can benefit from having very big core banking software like the ones they use in the commercial banks. Yeah. But those are very expensive. They're very prohibitive. And so what Aspect Financials is doing is like it's bringing those core banking services to this community. SACCO, the SACCO movement is over worth 100 billion collectively, And within that space as well, they were having a lot of challenges managing. How do we keep track of the loans that we're giving out, our members, my shares, and other types of financial products. Yeah. So what Aspect Financials does is it actually allows the SACCO to run. Okay. In fact, you banga my report or say all the financial statements. All the loans, Maru, Zangongole, Ibange extend, let me do that. It gives a SACCO a single platform to run all their operations, from point A, from beginning, all the way to the end, And so now what, and that product I think has been there. That one, we started developing it before Ango Dimension became Ango Dimension. I think it was 2014, somewhere about there, 2014, 2015. And so being that we were in the banking space, that was a niche that we know very well. It's something that we know. Can we offer these services to this movement? But then now we are also trying to look at, in as much as you are able to save to a SACCO, I need to also walk somewhere far to a SACCO and try to get my savings. Can we use these platforms to push this money digitally? I need to apply for a loan. Can you push it to my account, my bank account? Kabina my mobile money to a quick loan. So even member log into the member portal. Ngubanga apply loan into kutandizika. Osabita kuji. Usawo kuji. So those are some of the things that we offer. In fact, we have Malawi Police SACCO, one of the biggest SACCOs in Malawi, that is actually using Aspect Financials.
Oh, really?
And a couple of other SACCOs. Yeah. So I think their experience, you can go to them and ask them. But their experience has been transforming. It's almost every SACCO that we've automated has doubled in their profitability. Yeah. Just because yes, and they are getting at least a systematic way of doing something. Yeah. And it can tell you immediately, you need to make these corrective actions, or things are going well, but maybe these are the areas of improvements. Okay. So, I think that is some of the things that Aspect Financials looks at.
And these solutions, maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Timakatenga ku Kenya,
Yes.
Uganda,
okay.
you know,
India.
India. Yes. We didn't have, and nthawi zina tikamanena kuti tikamanena kuti this is something that was we crafted it from ground up. Like, you know, people say mwina munangopeza template pa internet munangopanga download you know, but it's something that was you know, designed from ground up, and you know, very proud to say that tikamanena kunena kuti titika kusolva mavuto athu tokha chitsanzo chimene titaumaloza ndithu bwinobwino chitsanzo ngati chimene chimene kufotokoza, you know, to build a system yokuti pa mwezi they are able from the system to process loans in the region of 300 to 500 million. Is, you know, I mean, it's without breaking the system, you know, without also people complaining about kujedwa, you know, that's something we take pride in.
So people are able to access that online, their home, asking for loans and all that, and pushing money from their circle to the bank. Okay. I mean, I think that's the one of the greatest things that I've heard. One of the good news that I've heard. I mean, having those kind of systems generated from like Malawi, you know, because I mean, for a lot of times, a lot of years, we've been talking about systems that have been built from outside, as you're saying. Okay.
Some people even thought there was one person who thought we are from Germany.
Oh, really?
Ango Dimension is from Germany, and we run the Malawi branch.
Okay.
When we brought the aspect.
Okay. I mean, okay. So it's been 8 years, right? Operating as Angle Dimensions full time.
Yes.
And pakati apa kwabwera anthu ndithu that we have to accept, because it's a business world. It's whereby maybe or even kids or children or students in the schools are being encouraged to be innovative,
which is what we want.
Which is what we want, to come up with the ideas, and after that they are setting up their companies and all that. So there have been companies that have joined the market for within this period. As Angle Dimensions, how are you still positioning yourself to just keep your market and be a leader into what you're doing?
So, you know, we've had this conversation, and I think it's an interesting conversation. There's a lot of business in the IT space.
Okay.
So much that you know, everyone will get their fair share of the pie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But it's
no, we can't. In fact, if we focus on maybe 3 or 2 pillars.
Okay.
Right? So we focus on financial technology, which may be broken down to some extent into Regitech, which is regulatory technology. Where smart identity actually falls in. And then the digital health. Those are the 3 pillars that we focus on.
Okay.
We've had people come to us and say, "Oh, who did your website?" Like, we did it ourselves. Website, you know. And kuti mumazimva. You know, we say, boss, we can give you the numbers of the people who can actually help you do your website.
Okay.
If we don't do my website.
Like you are grown.
We don't do. We've never done. Even when we started.
Okay, so it's that good that people will come and ask you that. Can you do this for us? Wow.
It's not that good, because I mean, in the context of like what growth.
I mean, but if people are coming to ask,
our website is is nicely done. Now it needs to be.
Now it needs to be done.
Okay.
But you know, it's a website with people go and like you know, this, you know,
you should be doing this.
Can you help us with our website? Like, bana, there's this guy, I think I talk Tanzania, and then there's this guy also, you know, and someone will come and say, Natsigula restaurant, and they need a mobile application, you know, we'll humbly say, So what you're saying is, there are new and upcoming markets, in the space. We want to work with them, because I think that's what we should see each other as. We're partners.
Okay.
Yeah, we complement each other. I can't do everything myself, and that's a mistake. Maybe other businesses will do and say, "Oh, mufuna website ati mapanga." No, you can't do everything. You can't be a jack of all trades.
Yeah, of course.
And so we streamline. We tell people, if you we've done some work actually with Ministry of Health, for example, during COVID-19. We worked with the community and came up with a number of digital health. You were able to report COVID signs on WhatsApp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then when you submit like that, if you say you're in the wrong, with the district health officer will actually call you.
Oh, okay.
And stuff like that. And those are pro bono, not even charge of health. So part of us also giving back to the community, we look at what is the pain points within the Ministry of Health, because digital health is also at the core of our what we do. So would from time to time work with digital health division within the Ministry of Health, bringing in our expertise and helping them to sort of streamline their operations.
Okay. So what's the growth strategy like? What are the future plans? Now that we're not talking about these things, what are we talking about now as Angle Dimensions? What's the future like?
I think the future of Angle Dimension is Malawi has been a learning ground for us.
Okay.
We've strived, we've gone through the hurdles, and what we've seen is the African market largely has got similar problems. Different contexts, perhaps, but similar problems. We think we can make our mark in the space, in the region.
Okay.
And so we recently set up in Rwanda.
Oh, okay.
And we are also looking to expand to other markets. And so the future of Angle Dimension is, I think, the African region.
Okay.
Just to now bring the level of playing field to some of the innovations that we're doing, especially like around the AI space and the fintech. We've been marked as market leaders.
Okay.
I think in that segment.
Yeah.
And even taking some of our ideas in the other markets. Bram had talked about Swaziland.
Yeah.
And we got Swaziland. We got one consultancy that turned into 4 contracts.
Yeah.
And what was very clear was that in every time we go to these markets, we wouldn't just be another company from Malawi representing.
Yeah.
We would be trailblazers.
Okay.
We would be idealists.
We are here.
They would say, "Oh, but that idea is very good.
Yeah.
How come you're not here?" So I think it's a clear sign for us. We said, you know what, we need to be Pan-African. We can't just be operating here. Even we've got some of our colleagues and employees that we work with, not just Malawians, but we've got others from the UK, Nigeria, Zambia, India. So we're really targeting ourselves for the African space.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
Malawi being the learning ground.
Of course.
What to do.
Home.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe talk about Rwanda. What was the motivation like to break into that? To expand to Rwanda? What was the motivation?
I think the motivation was pretty much Rwanda has positioned itself as the destination for fintechs in like
Africa.
There are tax havens, policies.
Yeah,
there are deliberate policies within the government to try and. So for example, I'll give you an example of how the government of Rwanda operates. So you can go to Rwanda and ask the government and say, we have an innovative idea. We want you to give us a place where we can pilot it. And actually they'll listen to you. If the idea makes sense, then obviously they'll say, okay, here's an arm of the government that you can work with. Pilot it. If it's successful, there's Rwanda Development Bank or board here that would actually give you resources if you need resources to scale up or set up in Rwanda as well. So we felt, and I think the other motivation was what Henry was talking about, that you meet colleagues from Rwanda or from other countries and say, but how come you're not in Rwanda?
Yeah.
You guys, if you were in Rwanda, wow,
After sharing those ideas.
Yes.
And we went to Rwanda.
Yeah, we did. Yes, we did.
Okay.
And so that was a motivating factor for us to enter the market there. And also, so the product that you talked about, the Aspect Financial 365, the Sako movement is not just in Malawi.
Okay.
We have Sako movement in whole of Africa. Rwanda, Kenya, Zambia. So we said we have a software solution that is working in Malawi because one of the difficult questions that entrepreneurs or startups face is when you go to pitch your business, the question is, where else have you done this? If you can answer that question,
catch 22. Because your first deal depends on you getting a previous deal that you don't have.
Yes.
So
okay. So we wanted to use the story that we have here and then build the same profile in Rwanda by saying, actually you can go. You know how I'm not saying people in Africa love the what they call them the site visits, right? But we wanted to do the same thing, like go to Rwanda and say, you can do a site visit to Malawi. We've done this with ABCD. You can go visit them and see how it's operating.
Okay. I mean, despite the environment that Rwanda has created, we talk about policies, receptive policies, whereby it's linking to each other.
Yes.
I mean, when you go to this office, they will link you to this office and all that. So that they drive their agenda in as far as technology is concerned. But what was the strategy like entering into that market? Despite that this is the environment, but you as Angle Dimensions entering into Rwanda, what was the strategy like? And maybe also some few challenges that you met in the way, despite all that.
I think the challenges, I would speak less of the challenges.
Okay.
Because, Rwanda is set up in such a way that you can register a company actually within a day.
Really?
In having certificate.
Zimene zimatifunda kunosa.
Yeah.
Kunokosa kuti zamba kuteka.
Koba zakhala
zikutifuta. Yes, you're right. But in Rwanda, so that's how the beauty of Rwanda. Rwanda alindi system immediately connected indeed.
Yeah.
So there were not challenges per se, but the strategy was to leverage on our expertise. We have a working relationship with commercial banks in Malawi, and we believe that we can take the same innovations into Rwanda and answer the question of where else has this ever worked.
Exactly.
We can say no, we're working with ABCD in Malawi, but also taking the issue of the KYC that Henry was talking about is not just a Malawi problem. It's a problem everywhere else. So we said the strategy was we have tried the model of software as a service in Malawi and it has worked, right? Why don't we take this same model in other markets? Because now we have references of where this is working and how it's working. But also, besides having the references, I think it was also a learning curve for us. We were able to tweak certain things and say, this circle is the biggest. I think their operations are different. So let's tweak the software a bit and improve it. So after we've done that, then we're able to say, I think we can cross the borders and maybe pitch to a number of cooperatives in Rwanda, in Zambia as well, where there are discussions in Zambia as well, to say, and our model is pretty much to say, look, we can run a proof of concept with your organization, and if you're happy with the proof of concept, then we can talk commercials.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so are you just excited about expanding out there?
Oh, and I forgot. When you're opening a bank account in Rwanda, by default, you're also given a foreign denominated account. They call it.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, an FTA account by default.
Okay. So you just happens.
You have the local currency account.
Yeah.
And then they also say, by the way, if you are transacting in dollars, here's an account.
Have to have this account.
In Malawi, how many months did it take us to open an FCA account?
Oh, how many banks did it take us?
And you tried with several banks.
Of course.
And they're like, no, you need a contract.
Send us a contract, proof of, why do you need a foreign denominated account in the first place?
Okay.
So you need to prove to us that you have a contract that is going to pay you in dollars.
Yes.
Right?
Okay, you can't just open it.
No, not in Malawi. Well, I mean, that is our experience, by the way.
So our friends out there, they're able to give that.
We walked in and say we want to open an account.
Yeah.
We didn't say we want a foreign denominated account.
No,
you know, they
we
said
want to open a local account.
Correct. So we did the forms and everything else. And when they were giving us the account numbers, they gave us two. They said this one is for dollars. This one is for local currency.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. that's exciting.
Yes, and you can log into to that account from anywhere and move money.
Really?
Send the dollars wherever you want.
In dollars.
Really?
Yes.
I think we have
need to call
we
anyone.
have so much homework to do back
The
home.
branch manager does not have to be your neighbor.
Really? To have money moved from this account to this account. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, okay. So I'm trying to understand if this expansion is not just, you're not just like excited about it, but I want to understand how is it aligning to your main vision as a company, the expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our main vision is to be a unicorn within Africa, obviously, in the fintech space.
You're not thinking about Europe? Oh, maybe.
We've been approached about Europe.
Really?
Yes, we have.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But I think in Africa.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's
talk about Africa then.
Yeah. So because we want to be, look, for every transaction that happens.
Yeah.
Henry talked about the mobile money accounts. You can't buy a SIM card to begin with without you giving your personal details.
Yeah.
KYC. Right.
Yeah.
And that is not just restricted to Malawi. Number one. Number two. In Malawi, we have Village Bank. We call them Banking Kwande. In South Africa, they call them Stockville.
Yeah.
In Zambia, they call them what do they call them? They call them something. You know, but they're across in Zimbabwe, in Tanzania.
Cuba is Tanzania.
Yes. You know.
Okay.
And so we want to be able to penetrate in those kind of markets and have a market share of our products.
Yeah.
You know, we have spent years building these tools, and now we want them to be used across Africa.
Wow, great.
And that's our strategy. And that is going to help us to sharpen the skills in terms of, I mean, there's been discussions. Someone came, I think the Europe example that he gave, you know, someone came and looked at the product portfolio that we have.
Yeah.
And they said, you know, each and every product that you have actually is a separate company that you must open.
Oh, really?
Yes. Because if you look at it,
That's how big the innovations are.
yeah,
the
because
ideas
if you look at it, we can have a company just purely focusing on just KYC.
Yeah.
When everyone is going to work,
Yeah.
they're thinking about how we're going to support so and
Of
so
course.
to make sure that the KYC is compliant, is solid, and we have engineers actually supporting
Yeah.
that platform.
Yeah.
We can also have a company that is just purely focusing on working with cooperatives.
Yeah.
You know, because the software is so big, it runs on cloud, software as a service, and you have to support all these organizations that you're working with. That's a separate company on
Yeah,
its
of
own,
course.
right? So it's a studio where we're actually, you know, like you'd be in a studio creating music, 10 tracks or whatever.
Podcasts.
Or podcasts, yes.
Okay.
And so our vision is that we want to be able to grow these separate products so big that they have divisions within the group that would support and grow the products beyond what we can imagine ourselves. Yeah.
Okay. So any upcoming projects or maybe plans to expand, maybe to go to a neighbor, Mozambique or South Africa? Are there any plans currently?
Yeah. So we are currently setting up for Zambia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So the market is already there for us. Yeah. It's just a matter of us to organize ourselves, but they're very excited to actually have us.
Oh, really?
In that market. Yeah.
That's great.
And then the other thing that we also do is, you know, you don't just go into a market. So the reason we've taken time is we had to engage the legal guys, you know, to study the markets that we want to go in.
Oh, yeah.
And then look at the laws, the regulations, and then they would advise us and say, okay, I think using KUSA, for example, this market, the regulations are, you know, they're okay in terms of processing people's data and in the easiness of doing business in those markets. And so we're using that strategy we're calling it a go-to-market or, you know, a go-to-market expansion strategy to sort of go in each and every individual countries that we've been given clearance in terms of the legislations, the laws, where we can go and operate without any restrictions and stuff. Yes.
Okay. So maybe one day we'll wake up with Ango Dimension in Zambia, Ango Dimension in South Africa, Ango Dimensions, Mozambique, all starting from Malawi. Wow.
Actually, so we work with a certain organization, a tech law organization that is based in South Africa.
Okay.
And so what they look at is the laws and regulations, but from a technology standpoint.
Yeah.
So they're lawyers with technical backgrounds. They're very interesting people to work with.
Very.
Before they come up with any agreement or anything, they will actually ask you, let's sit down, tell us how this technology works.
Okay.
This is a lawyer. You tell them, they'll start asking you about technical questions. Oh, they said, no, this is very interesting. Actually, this market, it can work because of this. Have you guys ever thought about also expanding to this market?
Okay.
Yeah. So, you always getting that. Different groups of people from different walks of life in different countries are all constantly inviting you. Just going back to the history of when we started, we were fighting a lot, and now it looks like it's more friendly now. So I think those efforts that were pushed that time are being realized, as Bram said. And then also I think for me as well, just a very important philosophical part. We all have to play a role in the future we want.
Yeah, of course.
If we think something can be better, it's still on us to come up with that.
True.
And the African story has to be rewritten.
Of course.
Because there is a lot of belief. Now, this is going to those markets outside Africa now. That Africa, nothing happens there. It's full of famine and poverty and all that. And there is poverty even in California. There are a lot of people who are homeless there, right? But nobody talks about it. You see, these narratives have an impact.
Yeah, of course.
If someone is coming to invest their own money, they have to believe where they're going is safe and things can believe. So we want to be a part of that story across the region. We want to be a local company in Africa everywhere. We want to be a local company in Rwanda. We want to be a local company in Zambia.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Great.
So I think that's important. And those collection of local companies, they drive the notion of Africa is not just here to beg, but we're here to thrive and we're here to grow.
Wow.
Sure.
That's great. I mean, Bram, to an aspiring entrepreneur in technology, which is out there today, they're thinking of going into this direction, venturing into this industry. With your experience, what you've learned in the past 8 years, what advice can you give them? What can you say to them?
It's
be brave.
I have always told the guys that when I look back, if we were to think through the decisions that we made back then, I think they were foolish. We were foolish and childish. We didn't put things into perspective to think through, the whole process. And so oftentimes I say, when we talk about taking a risk, others say calculated risk. I don't think we sat down and calculated our risk.
No,
he didn't bring a calculator. I didn't bring a calculator.
In fact, the day I resigned, I had the resignation letter for 1 month in my desk. Yeah, I was just every time. But the day that I took the plunge, I just took it. I didn't think.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's time.
Yeah,
there was not. It was not.
So there was no thought process.
No. So I mean that in itself is a lesson. I'm not too sure whether we can be judged now, but I don't think everyone would have to go through that process to define that you're brave and that you are pursuing your dreams. But what I can say is that if you believe in your product, there are times people could not believe us. They could not believe that. They could not believe. I remember one of the first conferences that we called all the SACCOs, not all of them, but majority of the SACCO leadership. We called them. We called them to Ufologa. We paid for a conferencing facility. We said, we want to demonstrate to them
how this works.
Exactly.
And that was some of our last money, by the way.
Yeah,
Really?
Yes.
So you took some of your money, the last money, to invest into that.
Yes.
What was the outcome?
Yeah.
Oh, so
it was a bad idea.
Okay.
Because what we got from that gathering was just people saying, but does it really work?
After a whole session.
paid meals for them, some of them transport and all that.
Maybe they have just downloaded it from the internet. But it's story about the Aspect Financial 365. I'll tell you, we weren't successful in 2015, 2016 because what happened was when we just finished developing it. And we were excited again, right? That for the first time, there's a solution from Malawi. And therefore, we're going to take over the market.
Yeah.
Immediately, there was a project by World Bank in Malawi.
Okay.
That was also doing exactly what we were trying to solve.
Okay.
But then what they said was, most of the circles are struggling to get a computerized system because they don't have money.
Yeah.
And so as World Bank, we're going to give you a grant through Reserve Bank.
Wow.
So that the Reserve Bank can procure one system that is going to house all the microfinance institutions and the SACCOs.
Wow.
And therefore, obviously, our market was out.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't, And so, and that was 2016. So we said, gentlemen, this is, we
cut our losses.
This didn't work out. But fortunately, there was one circle, which said, yes, as much as there's this guideline from the government, but we're not going to go on that system. We'll still be using your system.
Okay.
And so from 2017 up until today.
Oh, really?
And because then eventually this procured system started having problems.
So they got it from outside.
Was it from outside, Henry?
Could be. Outside, inside.
They got it from Kenya.
Okay.
And so they started having problems. Up until today, they're having problems. And so the individual institutions started saying, oh, you know what, we can't be on this system. We're going to look for our own system.
Like the circles now, we're making decisions.
Correct.
We have tried this, but it's not helping.
It's not working.
So we're going to go by your system.
Yes.
Okay.
And so that's why I'm saying if there's someone out there, a budding entrepreneur, if you believe in what you're doing, there may be people who are not believing in you.
Of course.
We believed in our system. When this project came at the Reserve Bank, we didn't say delete these files. We said, you know what, it's fine. We're going to support this one institution. But there were few updates that we're doing, paying attention to that because it's a small circle. So we said, as long as they're happy, we'll keep the system. It's fine. Up until in 2022, somewhere there where we started now seeing the traffic, people coming and saying, no, we've heard there's one circle that is using your system. Can you also help us?
Wow.
And so that's how we started regaining the confidence and started getting the market, And so if you believe you have a product, you have an innovation that is actually solving a particular problem, you may meet people who are saying, chief, is easy, right? But I think still believe in your dream, believe in your innovation, and there will be a time. Patience pays as well.
Yes,
there's a notion of kufuna kuhita, business lero.
You want to go good.
Kuna basi yamba kudrive fortune and town. Unfortunately, this market, no, you have to have patience. And patience, you're talking about 5 years, 4 years of perseverance. And we've seen a number of youngsters, their dreams dying down and just starting a job somewhere. But I think they mustn't stop dreaming and pursuing their dreams. Whether they've got a day job, but they should still pursue their dreams.
Great. Okay, man, quite interesting. Henry, was there a moment when you got back to your CV and be like, let me forward this CV to someone? Maybe.
That's a very good question. Strangely enough, no.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think, we some of the things that we're saying about serving two masters.
Yeah.
But in the various organizations we were, and we try to make, even Ango Dimension, a space where you can bring your ideas.
Yeah.
And if they're making sense, of course, we'll scrutinize you, but we are willing to, take that up. You have no idea what a peace of mind that just has on a human being.
Yeah.
I think in our former employment, because of the positions we were, because of the time, maybe that time, we didn't have such a platform to be able to be free. You had to serve the politics, serve the master, and other interests that have got nothing to do with your job. People become rise up not because they're good at their job, but because they're good at maneuvering. They know someone. That as well. And so for me, I think that thought has always been at the back of my mind. There was no organization that time present that I could say, I think I could go back and be myself. So it's never been an option. Strangely enough. I think we talked about it someday. That, why didn't we all try to apply? And earlier I had said that's why I'm, for me personally, as me, I'm very thankful for the partners that I have. Because there's never been that conversation. In all of the out of options we've had, the out of options has never been, guys, so let's go back. Yes. That's never been it. As Bram said, you have to be your mentor, you have to be your own psychologist, you have to be your own minister, as in church, not the minister of finance. Even against all odds. Some people with good intention can discourage you.
Of course.
With good intention. Because they are saying, but I know, you have the families. Look at what your kids are going through. Maybe you should call it quits. Can you maybe just try to find something? So there are good intentions, but they're still stopping you. So you have to love yourself and say, but Minister Henry, what do you think I should do in this case? I think Limbani team. This journey is long. It's lonely.
But there's light.
But there's light. So no, I've never thought about it. I still don't think about it.
No, I think now you cannot think about that. Okay. I love what you have talked about Rwanda.
Yes.
I mean, being receptive to the technology entrepreneurs. I'm thinking about my own nation. I'm thinking about Malawi. So we are talking about the policy framework that is regulating the industry, right? I mean, what's your take on the current technology policy framework that we have right here in Malawi?
Yeah, I think it's the latest one, which is called the National Digitalization Policy, is very ambitious, I would call it.
Okay.
There has been a number of recommendations. I think there was a study which was done by the Digital Malawi Project. And in it, they realized that there was a need for government to create a conducive environment for technology players, especially the startups. The argument being that, the government has a policy. So I'll give an example of a young man who did a project. Was it from what's this college as you're going to Kanengo? There's a college.
Oh, Diang.
Diang, yes.
Okay.
Yes. There's a young man who did a project, and his project was basically looking at identifying cars that are coming on a toll gate. Right. And he was using artificial intelligence and night vision or something like that to be able to tell the number plate and whatever. It wasn't. There was a video that circulated, and it was interesting. The CEO of Roads Authority picked it and said, "This is brilliant. We actually need this in our toll gates." But mind you, the Procurement Act dictates that if a government or a parastatal or any arm of the government is looking for a product or a solution, they must tender it. And the participating organizations must have been registered.
Reputable organization.
You should have a tax clearance certificate. You must be registered with PPDA. Now, this is
past experience also matters.
Exactly. Yes. Remember the question of where else has this? So
okay.
So, but this young man is just fresh from the school.
Yeah.
How do we support him? We need to create policies that actually support.
Yeah.
And we're able to absorb some of these innovations.
Yeah, of course.
Because if you say we're calling for tenders, people need to submit tenders. It means someone else has done this, somewhere else. But this was someone who has done it singularly, and so those are some of the recommendations that were identified in this strategy paper, the e-government strategy, that we need to create those conducive environments to work with the technopreneurs and startups and give them, because if you look at the budget, the national budget, the biggest chunk, they say what the government the customer wanku economy areas, right? There's a project in Boma, yes, private sector you get the project, but government is the biggest. They're constructing, they're supplying stationery, they're doing, And so, yes, there was 50-60, but from the technology standpoint, this is a pure example. Up until today, they tried to contact the guy, but obviously those kind of restrictions. And so tikufunika ngati Malawi we should be able to set aside and say, sitting if it's an innovation or mufuna mupange procure something within the ceiling of 10 million kwaja, then you can single source if you're working with an innovator from school, that we should be able to
knowing that this is something that can work.
Yes. Exactly. Remember the example I gave about the Rwandan government. Kutama kutenga ndwena okay, let us pilot timodzi. Mufuna jana, antifuna 20. China mufuna malaptop awiri.
Kupasana chilicho.
Talepera. Imaona? Tunakupasana maganikanoka, we need to create that environment, because then we're graduating students very brilliant, komano tukufuna kuti talembe ntchito. Yet there are some who are very brilliant, but if with supporting policies and the conducive environment, we should be able to support them. Number one. Number two, I think on the financing aspect. I've seen young kids coming to pitch, we have to develop application brilliant ideas. Tukupempa kuti mwina ena kangoti thandiza ndi 1 million kwacha, because 300,000 definitely kule laptop chakuti. These are small monies, where are venture capitalists in our country? We have money za pensioni, zimangokhala. We need to take risk in some of these. 1 million is not, you can say, okay, give them 1 million. Let's see them fail. Because if they fail, mansanga, then at least they'll stop wasting their time.
Of course.
Bwana 5 here's 1 million. Tapanga chakanika. Or you give them 1 million and then you say, I think itakuteka, but we just need to help you here and there. So Must is doing well in that space, because I've seen they're trying to work with the communities, bring them in, say, okay, you know what, yes, umagwira transistor umaiga batabwa koma kunoko timathakupa support imakongola kumachika mu box bwino tikagulisa chani. We need those kind of interventions.
So we have technological ideas that can address some problems that we have as Malawi, even as Africa. That's great. Okay, maybe as we wrap up, maybe just to understand how you are leveraging on such opportunities. Leveraging on the advancement of the technology and all that. How is it like? How are you leveraging on that?
My CTO is here.
So I think the most important thing now, you are talking about leveraging on the technology and advancing. First and foremost, skills. Skills. The software development market hasn't been there for a long time.
Yeah, of course.
So we are disadvantaged that way. If we compare to ourselves to Kenya, maybe let me not say America, but let's say Kenya, Nigeria, they've been at that for some time. So the market, the skills are readily there. Here, we are still in the building phase. And so I think one of the most important or one of the biggest challenges we've had with growth has not been business anymore.
Okay.
It is having the skills to execute in every ambition that we want.
Yeah.
We don't have no one says, oh, no, we can't take up your idea. In fact, we've got too many.
Okay.
But do we have the skills to support some of these things? Ourselves as co-founders of the company, we can't be in everywhere, can't be in every pie and all that. And so we need the skills to be able to drive up some of these technology initiatives. And so that has been a big challenge. But I think there's light there at the end of the tunnel. Universities like MUST, I know SUNY, I think they came, as well as Chancellor College. They actually approached us and say, can we have a program where maybe certain times of the month within a certain course, we insert ourselves at those schools and actually pick a topic and start teaching them at that where they're already in their incubation stage. They're in second year, they're in third year. By the time they're coming out, they already know what they need to do to be relevant in the skills market. One of my proudest and saddest moments is that we've built skills and then we ended up losing them to companies from outside.
Oh, okay.
So that is a testament of, I think, our ability to even build the skills there. To drive up the technology, that is something that we need to be at the forefront. So within Ango Dimension, we actually even have training programs and a curriculum. When someone comes, because we are aware of the gaps that are there. Because again, I said we are disadvantaged. So how do we catch up? If you tamanga a marathon with the window mods musaga and umadumba in Ango Tamanga. So we're handicapped. How can we get the level of playing field? And so we can't just say, and as this was into Z. No, we have to also be the trailblazers in there. So I think that is one key aspect of us driving technology. And then number two, Ango Dimension does not operate on Malawian standards. Okay, Simara. But Ango Dimension does not operate on Malawian standards. It operates on international standards. Because, unfortunately, because of the young market problem that we have, most of our competitors are not from Malawi. So you will be compared with Kenya and India. So we have to be the same or above the market. That takes a lot of investment. Training is okay, but let us certify our engineers. We ourselves will certify. And we are participating in conferences. I think just last year, we participated in a conference with Amazon Web, which is like one of the biggest in the world. And that was the company itself now able to be, participating to these events. What it does is it drives that idea, innovation in your mind. If you start seeing what others are doing out there, and Henry, I will tell you, but still, at the same time, it opens your eyes. Now you know these are some of the areas that we're talking about. We talked a little bit about the AIs and that we're doing, but we're going to do far greater things. You'll be shocked.
Oh, really?
For this market.
No.
And so continuous investment in technology, innovation, build the skills. I think these are the most important pillars in driving up this technology. And it's an ever sleepless job, unfortunately. The minute you stop, you die. You just don't know. The world doesn't end in one day. It ends in 1 year. So you'll be dying, you just don't know.
Of course.
Until one day you're on your deathbed. I don't need an abusa or shake. And by then it's too late. So we have to always keep on, focusing on these three pillars, I think. For us to drive up the technology narrative.
No, that's great. I mean, I think, Bram, I just want you to close up our conversations, just commenting on the AI revolution and the implication that it has on Africa, and maybe also how you are using that in your operations. And maybe we'll close from there.
I think AI is here to stay. That's one thing we must just embrace and be familiar with. and then I think we can look at the dangers of AI. We can look at how can we police it and stuff like that. And those are conversations that we need to be having. But I think as a country, we stand to benefit a lot in many sectors if we embrace AI and run with it. We have seen reports in Zambia, for example, where they're using artificial intelligence to be able to geolocate where they actually resources, natural resources and stuff. And there are many use cases for a country like Malawi. And so we as a company are not going to be left behind. We are heavily investing in that space, low key, of course. But obviously embedding the AI aspect in all of our products, whether it's fraud detection. And so we are very excited about the space, and we want to be the market leaders in this part of the world as far as creating solutions that have AI in it is concerned.
Okay. No, great. I think, Henry, are you saying what's the take-home message that maybe people can get about Angle Dimensions in general and everything?
We want to be part of the culture. The same way there's Nsima, Jambo, there should be Angle Dimension. If we're going to drive that narrative, I think it's important to tell our story. What it means is that Angle Dimension is here to stay, and we want it to be a contribution towards the development of Malawi. Someone who comes to Angle Dimension, even for 3 months, cannot be the same person. They come out more enlightened, better, more thoughtful. Let us make the Angle Dimension dream a reality for the sake of Malawi. I think there are so many stories that we see on social media, a lot of them bad ones about Malawi, complaining about the various challenges, which maybe some of them we didn't talk about. But we want to be the good story. We want to be also the alternative. We want to shed a light on Malawi that maybe has not been previously seen before in the minds of those outside Komaso, more importantly for Malawians themselves. Gati ifeyo indini abali. Tizuona kuti there's a company in Malawi that can also do. I shouldn't say because I didn't get a solution from America, I chose Malawi, I settled. No. It should be that the Malawian one was the successful outcome, was the more competent, more understanding company. Kusiana ndiya kwa America. We can't do that alone, I think. We need everyone to be able to drive the story. So we always set our standards high. Sometimes we set impossible goals and targets, but I think it keeps us going as a company. And so that's what we want to say for Angle Dimension.
All right. No, great. I mean, that's where we should end our conversations, gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate, as I said, we're appreciating the partnership that we have. And I hope that this series will help us, will contribute something to the development of this nation. We are talking about Malawi 2063. We're talking about the MYP 1. All that, and this is our contribution in as far as technology is concerned. So thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching us, and we'll be coming here, as I said when I was opening the show. We'll be coming here, and here in this segment we will be talking about technology, how it affects us, how it's contributing to the development of this nation as Malawi. So we will be having different people talking about technology, innovators, young entrepreneurs, people that are aspiring to be into this industry. We will invite them and have them here. People that are involved in policy making, we want them here to talk about the challenges that people have and all that, so that we contribute something to the Malawi 2063 in as far as technology is concerned. So thank you so much for watching us. Please subscribe, like, and continue following us. So until next time, thank you. Goodbye.